I am an associate professor and assistant director of real estate programs at the University of Maryland in College Park. And joining me is Elaine Warzala.
And I'm a professor at Clemson University. And we're here to spend a little bit of time talking to you about why we're very interested in the prop tech world and how quickly technology is impacting the real estate industry. So I'm going to have Jesse start off talking about why he felt like we should write this paper, since he was one of the masterminds behind it. And I came in after the other two discussed the topic. Jesse?
And so one of the reasons why we thought it was important to write this paper is, at the time when we were writing this paper in 2019, there wasn't a lot out there related to prop tech, fintech, anything that was comprehensive. So what we wanted to do was to provide a guide of a lot of these emerging technologies that weren't nearly as common as they are now. So, I mean, back then, ChatGPT didn't even exist. So generative AI and all of those other things. So we wanted to some extent, provide a simple guide that was easy to read related to these very technological and technical concepts.
Yes, and as Jesse mentioned, they really were rapidly growing. The issue of the Journal of Property Investment and Finance that this article is in was focused on prop tech. And when we originally suggested the special issue, it was denied because there wasn't that much yet. And then about a year and a half later, the editor approached me and said, maybe we should do this, as more and more venture capital money was headed for the prop tech industry. And now, as Jesse pointed out, generative AI is nobody, I mean, everybody's talking about it and trying to figure out how to deal with it. And one of the focuses of the paper is to say, be careful, because things are rapidly changing, and sometimes you'll go down a rabbit hole and you will waste a lot of time, and and then it'll be a new technology there. So you do have to be a little bit careful. I I think we actually talk about it in the paper, but we kind of explored some of the different technologies that now cryptocurrency, there's a major lawsuit that started today, and somebody is probably going to do a lot of jail time. So you got to be careful sometimes in some of these newer and emerging technologies. And Jesse, got anything else you want to say?
I think the only thing I'd add is that in the paper we talk about the tokenization of real estate, which makes real estate far more liquid, and a lot of people like the idea because that accelerates the ability to essentially trade real estate by making it liquid. But one of the things we also mentioned in the paper, and which Elaine has already touched on, is the issue of litigation. And that's becoming a lot more common because, yes, it's really fast and things can move very quickly in terms of real estate transactions. But at the same time, if there's any type of fraud or anything else, what recourse do people have? So there's the litigation aspect. And I think the other aspect is, because of the litigation to some extent, there's this move towards regulation. And how do you regulate a lot of these processes that some people liked in the beginning because they weren't regulated, but now they're realizing that maybe we need a little bit of regulation
You
just to
need some
ensure
little guardrails there.
exactly, a little bit of quality control. So I think that might be the next wave of research we take on, but that's the direction that things are moving in right now.
Yeah, and I guess I'm going to add one last thing before we say goodbye, and that is, again, the old saying, garbage in, garbage out. You really, really do have to be careful when you're using these tools to make sure that one, the tools you're using are real. I've read many of things these days lately about ChatGPT and some of those sources hallucinating. And again, hallucinated data that doesn't really help make things more efficient. And so again, being careful to understand what information you're getting out of these systems, and to make sure, and again, sometimes that actually turns out to be more time consuming. So just be real careful as you go wander off into this wonderful world of technology as it relates to real estate. So, and enjoy it, but be prepared for some potential bumps in the road. But Jesse, anything else?
I think that's it. Just again, for those of you not familiar with any of these technologies that are evolving at an extremely rapid pace, The paper basically provides a good foundation in terms of a lot of the definitions. So even though things have evolved significantly since we wrote that paper, it gives you a good idea for what's happening or how things have gotten to this point based on what we saw a couple of years ago when we wrote the article.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. I was at a conference, commercial real estate women, just last month, and there was a engineer, AI. They have created a company in Norway has created an engineer that is completely basically a machine, and she is suggesting we might actually get rid of the digital twin pretty soon because these robot engineers can actually duplicate it really quickly, and you don't have to
Wow.
do that digital, which was for me in writing this paper, that was one I just could not get around my little brain here. Digital twin, what are they talking about? But it's a very complicated digital copy of the actual building. But now we may not have to spend all that time, money, and energy creating the digital twin because there's this robot that can literally do stuff in minutes. So it was mind blowing. So anyway, so from Clemson, South Carolina, appreciate you reading our paper, and contact us if you have any suggestions or comments. Jesse?
And again, from
University
College Park, Maryland, University of Maryland, thank you and enjoy the article. And yeah, feel free to follow up with any questions. Thank you.
Thank you.